Hey guys, welcome to the Bookkeeper Basecamp podcast. This show is for virtual bookkeepers who are starting, growing, and scaling online bookkeeping businesses. I'm your host, Kimberly Stevenson. Let's dive in and see what we're talking about in today's episode. Well, hey there. Welcome to episode 33 of the Bookkeeper Basecamp podcast. I'm flying solo on this week's episode. Now, we're going to jump into our topic in just a bit, but before we do, I want to highlight a couple of things for you. If you're listening to this episode the week that it goes live, then do me a favor and send up a whoop whoop for me. That's right, we're celebrating here at Spark Hustle Flow HQ. It happens to be the 1-year anniversary of the podcast, and boy, has it been an amazing year. It's so exciting to hit the 1-year mark. One, because it was one of the very first success metrics I committed to when I first undertook this project. Not only because hitting the 1-year mark is something that many podcasts never get the opportunity to celebrate, but also because it would be a testament to our commitment to our listeners and our community of financial support professionals. So I'm here today to say thank you so much to each of our listeners and supporters, each one of the amazing guests that have come on and spent time chatting with me, and the service providers who have helped to make this happen. Now, a really special shout out to our editing team for putting up with all of the curveballs that I've thrown your way, and to our admin and our launch team who helped us get the podcast off to a great start. I couldn't have done any of this without you. So thank you so much. As excited as I am for what we've already accomplished, I'm even more excited about what's coming over the next few months. And that is a great segue into the second thing that I wanted to highlight. And that's something that those of you who have been around for a while may have already noticed. That's right, we have a new name. Well, it's more like an expansion of sorts, right? So a few weeks ago, we quietly changed the name of the podcast to the Bookkeeper Basecamp podcast. And I didn't want to go too many episodes into the new year without acknowledging that change and sharing some of the background on how I came to this decision. If you already follow me on social media, and I really hope you do, then you already know that I host 2 free online communities for virtual bookkeepers. One community is the Bookkeeper Basecamp group on Facebook, and the other is the Bookkeeper Basecamp Club on Clubhouse. The name resonated so much with everyone in both of those communities that it just made sense to further align the brand and to rename the podcast to match it. Since the podcast is often the first place where people connect with our brand, and making the name the same across the board, it just made so much sense and it made things seem so much easier. And here's another little tidbit. We also changed the name of our Instagram profile. So instead of Spark Hustle Flow, which still is the name of our business, you can search for us at Bookkeeper Basecamp on Instagram too. I mean, might as well go all out, right? So now when you search for things like online bookkeeper, virtual bookkeeper, or even Bookkeeper Basecamp, you'll find us. Now, I realize that the journey from novice bookkeeper to multi-6-figure bookkeeper CEO can seem lonely sometimes. But just know that wherever you are on the bookkeeper profit path, you'll find resources and the help that you need over at Bookkeeper Basecamp, whether it's on Facebook or on Clubhouse, the podcast, or on Instagram. Okay, so enough of that. Let's jump into this week's topic, which is growing your client base. So when people ask to join our free Facebook group, Bookkeeper Basecamp, y'all remember I've said that enough now, right? The first thing I ask them to do is to answer 3 questions. One of those questions is, what's your biggest struggle in your business right now? By the way, if you're not asking questions before people join your private Facebook group, you really need to start doing that today. It's like mining for market research gold. Anywho, the answer that I get most often by far is finding clients. And I understand. Regardless of where you may fall today on the bookkeeper profit path, whether you're a technician, a specialist, or somewhere else on the journey, converting new clients is the lifeblood of your business. But here's the thing. The energy that you put out there when it comes to positioning yourself and marketing your business is extremely important. So the first thing I need us all to do is to actually remove the phrase finding clients from our marketing lexicon. Instead, I want you to shift your energy and your focus from finding, which is too much like hard work for me, to attracting clients. Because you, my friend, you're the flame. You're not the moth. You're the attraction, the destination, the prize in this equation, and I need you to recognize that fact. So let's start by reframing how we think about this whole thing, okay? Okay, now that that's out of the way, what I found is there are typically 4 things that stop us from attracting the types of clients that we love. The first one is a lack of clarity. When you're uncertain of who your ideal client really is and how you can help them, it's going to be hard to position yourself so they can find you or to craft the type of messaging that will draw them into you and into your business once they do. It's so important that we have a strong understanding of who we're attracting and why that is and how to position ourselves in the most attractive way possible so we can make the kind of revenue, we can generate the kind of revenue that we really want to in our business. The second issue that I find is that there's a lack of confidence. This is what I call a wallflower situation. I mean, when you go to a party or an event, it's not to stand around and hold the wall up, right? It's really so you can have fun, so you can mix and mingle and meet new people and enjoy yourself. And I want you to think of your business as a party where you're the honored guest and people want to hang out with you. If you stay locked up in the bathroom because you're too scared and you don't have enough confidence to come out and meet your guests, do you think anybody's coming to the next party? Probably not, right? It's the same thing with marketing your business. Remember, you're the star of this show. You're the flame. You're the belle of the ball. Your audience wants to know you, and you have to be confident enough to go out and connect with that audience because they're your people, and you can't connect very well through the bathroom door. The third thing is inconsistency. Listen, I know life happens when you're running a business, when you're raising a family. Maybe you're working a full-time job and all the other things. It can be really hard to be consistent with your marketing efforts when you have all of this other stuff going on. So I get it. Trust me, I do. We all go through the same thing. Here's the thing though. No great business became great by only showing up when they found a little bit of extra time or when it felt convenient for their schedule. If you want to make it easy for your ideal clients to find you, to be attracted to you, you have to give them something to work with. And that starts with being consistent. Now, that doesn't mean you have to be everywhere all the time. It's not about frequency, right? It just means that you need to pick your spot, pick your time slot, and show the heck up when you say you will. Okay? And finally, number 4, sameness. What exactly do you mean by that, Kim? Well, I'll tell you. I mean, think about it. When you look around at the general bookkeeping industry, what do you see? Do you see very many people who stand out from the crowd in this very saturated market? Probably not. Now, I definitely have some deep-seated opinions on why this is, how to combat it, and if you haven't already listened to it, I want you to go back to episode 30 of the podcast when you have a chance. I actually share the basis of how I came up with Bookkeeper Evolution, how I decided to start a movement behind that, and the framework that I use to coach virtual bookkeepers who aren't afraid to be themselves, to show up and to boss the fuck up in their businesses. Until you decide to be different, to be authentically you, and to stand out in a sea of sameness, you'll struggle to attract the right people at the right time and at the level that you need to get you to where you want to be in your business, to get you the results that you desire in your business. So if you're sick of serving the same extra needy, low paying, slow paying, pain in the ass clients as the typical old school hand holding bookkeeper, then you have to start attracting the type of people who value your style, your skills, and your unique strengths. And you can't do that by doing the same thing that everyone else is doing. Now, I know that there are other obstacles and challenges around client attraction, but these 4 are the ones that I see the most in emerging virtual bookkeeper business owners. And if any of these hit home for you, then it's time for you to make some changes in your client attraction strategy, my friend. I talk about these things a lot over in the free communities that I run, and I even have a free download that'll help you better understand your unique strengths as a virtual bookkeeper and what areas you should focus your marketing strategy on. It's called the Revenue Rockstar Quiz. It's free. It's available on my website, and it takes less than 10 minutes to complete and to get your results. We'll be sure to link it in the show notes of this particular episode, and I want you to take the quiz, and when you do and you get your results, then I want you to come over to the Bookkeeper Basecamp group on Facebook. That's where I share most of the tips and tricks on how to attract the right clients using your unique strengths. I can't wait to connect with you over there. But for right now, it's time to wrap up this episode. It's always fun hanging out with you, and I'll see you on the next one, okay? Remember, as always, be proactive, be productive, and be profitable, and I'll see you next time. Ciao for now. Well, that's it. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of the Bookkeeper Basecamp podcast. If you enjoyed the show, make sure to rate, subscribe, and leave us a positive review. This will help other virtual bookkeepers like you find the show and learn how they can become a bookkeeper CEO too. And if you want to hear more from me, be sure to follow Spark Hustle Flow across all social media channels, or you can simply search #Bookkeeper Basecamp. And don't forget, you can always come hang out with us over in the free Bookkeeper Basecamp Facebook group. We'd love to have you there. So that's it for this episode. Remember, as always, be proactive, be productive, be profitable, and we'll see you next time.